Hey there, family. Francie here, and it is a beautiful day at Janewood, and I have the best view on the lake. See? How could you ask for a better view for working? So, I am trying to paint, well, I am, not just trying, I am painting the outside of the second floor, and I thought I'd hop on here and do a little video about prep work. So remember, painting is not about perfection. And the importance of painting is protecting the house. If we don't protect the house rots and falls down. So if we talk about painting a lot, it's because it protects the entire house, especially the outside of the house. The way I do things may not be the way everybody does things, but it works for me. And so I thought I'd show you how I do things to empower you to paint at Janewood too. So first, I took a scrub brush and some bleach solution, maybe a 1 part bleach to 10 to 20 parts water solution, and just scrubbed at things to get rid of the mildew. Because it will be hard to get paint to stick to things like dirt and mildew. So I like to remove it, and it also helps me get the lay of the land. When I'm working on the roof, I make sure to have plenty of sun protection because I burn like a lobster, and I also want to stay hydrated. So I'm this wild lady who wears a water bladder on my back to make sure I stay hydrated while I'm on the roof, because I don't want to get dizzy and fall off the roof. Then I take my scraper, and I have this scraper. This is the general one that you get at a hardware store, and the idea here is that you're using this knife to get under the chips of paint and take them off. It will also rough up some areas of the house, the painting surface, to ensure that the paint will stick to it. So let's see, let's be in a place where you can see. So I hold one end here, and I just run it along the side of the house and get off parts that are coming up. And at this point, there are some problem areas that I've got of rotten wood. And I can tell that it's rotten because I can kind of stick my thumb into it, as opposed to this part that's not rotten. My thumb doesn't go through. So I try to be careful with how much rotten wood I try to attack. I try to get the parts that are essential. And so I've got some here, I've got some here. And the way to deal with that is to remove the rotten wood, and be careful that you don't remove like a ton of wood. Then you get this thing called wood hardener, and you take either a sponge brush or a brush that you're going to throw away, or a little rag even works, just to sponge some of this solution. It's like the consistency of water on the remaining wood around it. And then you take some, I like brown caulk because it blends in with the outside of the house. So you take some brown caulk. You're going to slice off the end with an X-Acto knife at about a 45-degree angle. You can always go back and change it a little bit. Change the angle a bit, like that. And don't leave your X-Acto knife so that it's, or your utility knife, so it's just out there. And then we've got this little gun here. If you pull this lever, you push this thing and you pull this thing, and the little gun comes back. You love I always know the appropriate terminology for everything. Yeah, listen to me, kids. I know it all. And then you're going to break the seal. You got to stick a long nail through, and then you're going to just fill up those parts of that need to be filled up. Okay, you can use that on these long parts. You can use it on little parts like little holes. This is a lifesaver. Okay, it really serves every purpose. To get the excess off, like here, you can see where there was some smoothed on here in a problem area right here. Okay, so this was smoothed on probably with a finger or a wet rag and then painted over. Last thing we do is we've got sandpaper or a sanding block, and we just want same thing, sanding block, sandpaper. This is about 100, this says 180, 100 grit, whatever grit, and just kind of rough up the side a little bit. The idea is here that we want to get a surface that will take the paint, and the surface doesn't want to be slick or dirty. So not slick on one hand and not dirty on the other hand, but just kind of scuffed up a little bit so that the paint will be absorbed into the house. So if there's a ton of new wood peeking through, I'm going to put primer on those parts, and then on anything that's kind of new wood, and then I put my finish coat. It's all falling apart here, kids. Put primer on, and then I'd put the regular paint on. Okay, so this house has lots of problem areas, and you can get into a real pickle if you start going from one problem and letting the problem expand. So even while I'm working on this side of the house, I mean, I see all these problem areas. What I really want to do, if I'm my fancy self, is to take the boards off and replace them all and make sure that it's perfect. That is just not, we're not going to get anything done that way. So if it's manageable to just paint over it, just paint over it. You know, a coat of paint does a world of difference. Do what you can. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. That is my saying of the century. Well, I didn't make it up. Thank you, Voltaire. And yeah, so on this side of the house, we are missing lots of trim. We've got lots and lots of stuff that needs serious painting, but there's only so much I can do in my remaining days up here, and it's vacation, so we don't want to work during the entire vacation. We'd rather work just part of the vacation. So I'm going to do what I can, and my dad and I have a plan to replace the trim next summer. I'll get all the measurements, and we'll get the right amount of wood and all that kind of stuff and replace the trim next summer. So I want the paint, for the most part, on the brown to last a good few years. It's not going to last forever. Nothing I do is going to make it last forever. It's an outside surface, but get the brown to last a few years, and most of the trim that's in good condition, I want it to last a good few years. The trim that we're replacing next year, I just need it to last through the winter or a few more years if we don't get to it. So that's enough from prepping, and thanks for joining me. Bye.